राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जन यामुनतिरवनचारी यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जन यामुनतिरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, The Activities of Maharaj Priyavrata, Shloka number 4. Samshayoyam Mahan Brahman Dharagara Sutadishu Saktasya Yat Siddhirabhut Krishne Cha Matirachyuta Samshayo Yam Mahan Brahman धारागारसुतादिषु सक्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरभूत् कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन् धारागारसुतादिषु सक्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरभूत् कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन् धारागारसुतादिषु सक्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरभूत् कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता
संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन्
संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन्
कारागारसुतादिषु
धारागारसुतादिषु सक्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरभूत्
कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता
कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन् धारागारसुतादिषु सक्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरभूत् कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता. Okay, word meaning samshayah,
संशयः
doubt. I am
अयं
this Mahan,
महान्
great
ग्रेट्
Brahman,
ब्रह्मन्
O Brahmana,
ब्राह्मण
Dara to the wife, Agara house, Sutta children, Adishu and so on, Saktasya of a person attached, Yat because, Siddhihi perfection, Abhut became, Krishna unto Krishna, Cha also, Matihi attachment, Achyuta infallible. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The king continued, O great Brahmana, this is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like King Priyavrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? Purport: King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children, and home could become so perfectly Krishna conscious. Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matirna Krishna Paratas Svatova Mito Vipatyeta Graha a Grahavrata, one who has taken a vow to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is because most Grahavatas are guided by sense gratification and therefore gradually glide down to the darkest regions of material existence. Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadev Goswami to resolve this great doubt. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So continuing the same discussion of the question by Maharaj Parikshit. So King Priyavrata, he was a great devotee, and he was personally trained by Narad Muni in the path of renunciation, in the path of intense devotional service. But then, like he later entered into the Grahasthashram, and then it is mentioned that he properly lived and enjoyed the family life, and also, he did an expert administration of the worldly affairs. So all these things were mentioned. So then Parikshit Maharaj became very like perturbed, like how can a great devotee like be of this nature and also like attain perfection towards the end of the life. So how is it possible? So this is the question that is put, and the answer we will see in the future sessions. But at least the question that itself brings about a very wonderful philosophical aspect. So here it is mentioned that how is it possible that a person like King Priyavrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? And in this connection, so Srila Prabhupada is actually quoting this particular shloka, Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova. So mm, this is very nicely, this is a dialogue that is given by Prahlad, and mm, when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, like how did you get this Krishna consciousness? So this is second time when Prahlad Maharaj is presented before Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu is asking that same wrong question, that rather than asking, what did your teachers in the school taught, you know. So Hiranyakashipu again and again asked, like, what is the best of the things that you have ever, learned? So then Prahlad Maharaj was truthful. He was like, he doesn't know how to speak a lie, small boy also. And then he just told glories of devotional service. This is the best thing that I've ever heard. So then, Hiranyakashipu becomes very angry, and like he chastises the teachers, that you people have taught something wrong. So then the teachers say, no, 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 we have not taught anything wrong. Like it is like somehow this guy is naturally a devotee. So then later, Hiranyakashipu turns to Prahlad, and then he asked, like, he asked this question. Uh, the teachers told, like, no, we have not taught. So when Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teachers, he again addressed his son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, you rascal, most fallen of our family, if you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it? Right? So then Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova Mitobi Patyeta Grahavatanam Adanta Gopir Vishatam Tamishram Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam. So he is mentioning, like, first of all, he's mentioning how we cannot get Krishna consciousness, what all means through which we cannot get Krishna consciousness. So first point that he makes is that Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova. So like we cannot get Krishna in our consciousness. So by Parataha and Swataha, so by endeavor of another person, by the influence of another person, or by one's own endeavor, it's not possible, right? So like then we see that we are all endeavoring for making Krishna consciousness, getting advanced in Krishna consciousness by the way of sadhana, by the way of reading, hearing, and things like that. So like how does this statement hold good? So this statement always holds good. So we all know that Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Gahyam Indriyai Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayam Eva Spuratyada. So it's only by service. Our endeavor is on the part of the service. So but does our endeavor guarantee that we will become Krishna conscious? No. So our endeavor itself is not sufficient, and rather we see that sometimes people don't endeavor. Like Putana, she didn't endeavor to get attracted to Krishna, but she got Krishna. No, so like the endeavor is not sufficient. So it is Swayam eva spuratyada. It is by the will of the Lord. No, Krishna consciousness is always something that has been blessed upon us, right? So it is not something that we are earning. So it is something that is blessed upon us. So Matirna Krishna Parata Swatova. It is not by one's own endeavor or by effort of another person, so we will be able to get it, right? So mito vipatyeta grahavatana. So this, somebody may say, like, then another person's endeavor, no, another person's this one. So now we become, if we see that if Vaishnavas bless, then we become Krishna conscious. If spiritual master blesses, then we become Krishna conscious. So then it is like parataha, no, it is another person who's by his effort, like, no, we are becoming Krishna conscious. So here it is, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna, and the Vaishnavas who are, no, sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness, they are also non-different from Krishna. So effectively only Krishna can bestow, no, Krishna consciousness, not by any other endeavor, any other person. So they are not parataha, they are, no, like for us, they are as good as Krishna, right? So it is only Krishna who can actually bestow, no, Krishna consciousness upon a living entity. And so their inclinations towards Krishna are never aroused either by instructions of others or by their own efforts, or a combination of both. No, it is not possible. It is only by, no, by any material means. It just means that here parataha and swataha is like, no, by my own material endeavor. No, like it is nicely mentioned in Brahma Samhita, pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo vayo ratapi manaso muni pangavanam. So even if I try my best to attain the absolute truth or know the absolute truth, by my endeavor it's not possible. And then, by the help of another person also, it is not possible. It is only by, Krishna or Krishna's representatives who are non-different from Krishna. So only they can bestow Krishna consciousness. No, otherwise it is not possible. And then, so Griha Vratanam. So here this particular aspect is what is highlighted here. So even like Parikshit Maharaj is asking, um, Dara Agara Sutadishu. So Dara is the wife, Agara is the house, and then Suta and Adishu. So like all the other paraphernalia of attachment for a Grihavrata. So a person who's like Grihavratana means like he is very much attached to the family and very much attached to the like connections of the family. So why in scriptures, it is constantly criticized about the family life. So family life is essential for a dharmic material life. Without family life, there is no dharmic material life. So, but then for transcendental realization, one has to even cross over this thing. So either a person has to take sannyas and then be in the renounced order of life, or in the grahastha ashram also, like one has to be like staying with the family only for the purpose of advancing in Krishna consciousness. So but if somebody is like staying in the family only for the purpose of family, so then it is called grahavata. So then that is not very much appreciated. So like no the vrata should be towards Krishna, like to be attached to Krishna. So that is very important. So this Grahavrata is a person who is wrongly attached to the family affairs. So then he becomes, like it is mentioned, mito vipatyeta. So mitaha means from combined effort, and then abhipatyeta is developed Grihavratanam of persons too addicted to materialistic bodily conception of life, and Adanta, so like uncontrolled, Gobihi, so that is by the senses. So with uncontrolled senses, no, he cannot actually attain Krishna, and Vishatam entering Tamishram, hellish life, Puna Puna Charvita Charvananam. So like again and again he is chewing that which is already been chewed by so many people. That means so everybody in this material world have tried various ways of enjoying the material life. So why did they do this thing? Because everybody is looking for that satisfaction and happiness, and everybody is looking for that ultimate happiness, that can satisfy the living entity. So but that is not possible here. So but then they don't have any alternative. So because of that, they keep on searching for the happiness in the same material life, in different forms. So this is something Prahlad Maharaj is telling. So the question that is asked by Hiranyakashipu is, how did you become Krishna conscious? And Prahlad is telling like, no, you cannot become Krishna conscious by uncontrolled senses, by being attached to family affairs, and like and by like trying to become happy by doing various permutations and combinations of material sense gratification. So, and then even the second shloka, so that is also of how you cannot become Krishna conscious. So the question is about how you become Krishna conscious, and Prahlad Maharaj is giving generalized answer. So because like the specific answer is Narad Muni preached to him that he cannot tell. So no, he has to protect the interest of Narad Muni. So like so because of that, like he's giving indirect answer. Later on he will give direct answer to his friends. That like friends also ask like you see like we are all sons of demons, and we have never seen any Vaishnavas. So and we have been taught by Shanda and Amarka, who are like solid materialist. And how did you become a devotee? So then Prahlad Maharaj says, yeah, like no, I got the fortune of getting association of Narad Muni, and by that like I could become a devotee. So very simple, like no, simple boys asked simple question, so he gave the simple answer. So but now Hiranyakashipu is asking the question, so he's giving philosophical answer. So in this way, like we don't need to speak lie, so we can just give a philosophical answer. So the opposite person may not be able to understand what is the real thing, right? So now the next sloka that he's talking about is Nate vidu swartakatim hi Vishnu durashaya ye bahirarthamanina. So he's telling that so people in general, they don't understand that real swartha, no real self-interest is Vishnu, right? And durashaya ye bahirarthamanina. So and because of being ambitious to enjoy this material world, so bahirartha, external sense objects, arthamanina, so considering valuable. So the real artha or the real swa artha, swa artha means like one's own self benefit. So the real artha is Vishnu. So how do we say that? So like we when we take care of the body, so it is external. So then mind and intelligence is little more this one internal, but then still it is external. So then the soul is the real proper the living entity himself, and then the super soul is the real entity of real entity that exists. So in this way, we see that when we go deeper into our system, so we see that super soul or Vishnu is the real person, for whom everybody is working for, right? So the real Swartha is Vishnu, and Prahlad is telling that not people in general, they don't understand that real Swartha is Vishnu, and then Bahirartha, so like Swartha and Bahirartha. So like actually people think Swartha means like something for my satisfaction I should do, something for my benefit. So and they try to take care of this body or things that are connected to the body. So but actually they are bahirartha, no, they are not swartha, no. So like and they become cheated in this way. So like when they are trying to feed a bahirartha, so then they are not getting satisfied because their system is not getting fed, right? So when we worship Vishnu, so then we get nourished, because Vishnu is the root of our existence. So because of that, we get nourished, yathataror mula nishechanena. So but when we serve the bahirartha, when we serve the body, so though the body looks to be ours, but it actually it is disconnected from us, it is a different energy of Krishna, it is a material energy of Krishna. And like we don't get fed through the material energy, we get fed through Vishnu. So like no, real Swartha is Vishnu, and like because of ignorance, because of being present in the material consciousness, so one understands that serving the body and things connected to the body becomes Swartha. So, but actually it is Bahirartha, and it doesn't satisfy the living entity, right? So, and then andayatandar upaniyamanas tepisya tantra urudam nibadda. So it is like just like a blind man following another blind man, so they fall into the ditch. So in the same way, like the materialistic people, so they are followed by, they follow the leaders of this material world, and they all advocate that this is the way of enjoyment, and they give promise. And if you see like anybody who comes, like even the so-called dharmic party, if they come to the power, so what they will do, So they will try to develop industries, they'll try to develop some economy, and they'll present their own ways of developing the economy. And still it is Bhagirartha only. No, so even the so-called dharmic party, no, they cannot actually find out what is real Swartha. So in effect, whichever party comes to the power, so they can never satisfy the living entities, because they don't know the real Swartha is no service to Vishnu. So because of that, they cannot actually satisfy the living entity at any point in time. So, and then even if Krishna conscious people come to the power and they say like worship Vishnu, and these people will not understand, and they will actually dethrone the party. So no, it is very difficult for us to convince these people. So now we see that like these two shlokas, no, Prahlad is actually mentioning how a person cannot become Krishna conscious, and how in the first shloka he clearly mentioned, by uncontrolled senses and by being attached to the family affairs, so one cannot become Krishna conscious. And in the second shloka he is telling the real Swartha is Vishnu, and that is no, people in general are misled. No, they are trying to find satisfaction in serving something which is external, something which is external. And then in the third shloka he actually comes to the point how somebody can become Krishna conscious. So still he is not telling how he has become Krishna conscious. No, he is telling that how somebody can become Krishna conscious. So he is telling that Naisham matistavadurukramangram sparshastana tapagamo yadartaha mahi yasham padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam navinitayavat. So he is telling that unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So here a specific way of taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord is mentioned. And what is that? So how do we take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord? So this is Mahiyacham Padarajo Abhishekam. So Mahat, no? So great personalities, so just like Narad Muni, so whose blessings Prahlad had received. So so Mahiyasham Padarajo Abhishekam. So in fact, no, the translation actually Prabhupada mentions, unless one smear upon their bodies, so that is of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. So here we see that Pada Raja Abhishekam. No, so literally, so we have to get a sack of sack of dust at the lotus feet of the devotee, and then so snan karna chahiye actually. So here, literally speaking, so how did Prahlad got this thing? So Prahlad was there in the womb of his mother, and then he got the instructions, which are emanating from the lotus mouth of great personality like Narad Muni, and so those instructions were this particular thing that he's mentioning, Pada Rajobhishekam. So this is compared to the instructions, or this is like synonymous to the instructions received from great personalities. So Prahlad Maharaj, for him, there is his life, there is nothing else apart from the instructions that he has received from Narad Muni. So literally, his whole existence is filled with the instructions given by Narad Muni. So he is telling that no Pada Rajo Abhishekam. So it is, we see that we are trying to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. So we try to invite people to our programs, and then we try to logically explain the various aspects of Krishna consciousness and things like that. So, but really, a person becomes Krishna conscious only when this particular equation happens. So when he does this Mahiyasam Pada Rajo Abhishekam. So when he actually receives the mercy of a great personality, so that is when he becomes Krishna conscious. And in the Bhagavatam, we see that in the first canto, itself it is mentioned nicely, so that Shushruto Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. So like when a person actually renders service, Mahat Sevaya. So when he renders service to a great personality, so then he gets Vasudeva Kataruchi. He slowly gets the taste for like hearing about Krishna. So until unless a person gets the opportunity to serve a great personality, so it is not going to be possible like for them to enter into Krishna consciousness. So in fact, when Prabhupada went to the West, like now also like people are trying, to preach in the West. So they're trying various different means like to preach in the West. So but then Prabhupada went, like his speech was not very what is that, understandable. No, it was heavy with the Indian accent, Bengali accent. And then the stuff that he was speaking, like he was quoting Sanskrit, and he was like, first of all, Sanskrit is not understandable to them, and the English that Prabhupada spoke was completely not understandable to them. So it is like, how did he actually make devotees? So like when he chanted the Hare Krishna mantra in pure, like with pure Krishna consciousness. So in fact, morning I was hearing on this one conversation of Prabhupada. So there, some reporter is asking, how did these people know they got attracted to you? So then, like Prabhupada is replying to the question, saying that, no, why are you asking me? Ask them. See, this Brahmananda, he is the first one to get attracted. So, and with him, Achyutananda was there. Now he is in India, but he is there here. You ask him, no, he will tell. So then, so like when they asked, like Brahmananda, like that time he was already sannyasi, so he was mentioning that I cannot specifically explain like how did I got attracted. I don't know. So but then like it was, I was looking for something, something beyond, something like something special and things like that. So and then Prabhupada interrupts and says, no, yeah, like no, his father is a very big businessman, and no, he wanted him to become businessman, but he predicted that this guy will not take up business. He'll become a pious man. So he was looking for something pious. And then, when like they got into this Krishna consciousness, when they got into Prabhupada's chanting and things like that, so it was literally out of the world. So even last time when Burijan Prabhu came, so he was mentioning that when Prabhupada came, so it was like a bubble, So anybody who enters into the close vicinity of Prabhupada, or anybody who hears the chanting that done by Prabhupada, so for them it is like something like super duper, like they're not able to explain what is happening over there. In fact, they were having the what is that, topmost intoxicants, like the drugs and things like that, and they are having drugs, and here Prabhupada is singing, and it is like this is like, this is much better. इसको फेंक के अंदर आ जाते हैं. In fact, these drug addicts, they made posters saying that stay high forever. No, so like it is really like something, एक बहुत बढ़िया नशा है इधर. उससे ज्यादा नशा इधर मिल रहा है. So they were literally actually experiencing something different. And like Gurujan Prabhu was telling, that what we were able to get over there, in Prabhupada's association, so in that degraded place. So the very same thing later on, like I was searching for this experience, but later on when I came to Vrindavan, so I could able to experience the similar kind of experience. So Prabhupada actually was carrying Vrindavan, so Prabhupada actually was carrying Krishna in his heart, and he could able to create that particular this one. So, and these people, how did they become devotees? Not because Prabhupada's logical explanation, that's still external, not because like what is that, any other means. No, it is just simply their service to Srila Prabhupada, who was a great personality, who was a great devotee of the Lord. So simply they served, and then that created Sukruti, and they become devotees, right? So this is how, like we make devotees. So in fact, like whenever we want to like do any preaching activities, we want to go out and give the message of Krishna consciousness. So the first thing is that we should also do our sadhana very nicely. We should do our rounds very nicely, study Bhagavatam very nicely, and then like if we actually can feel nourished by the practice of Krishna consciousness, then we can actually try to give the Krishna consciousness to others. Otherwise it is not possible. So we will try various means. We will try. Maybe this PPT is not working. I'll show different PPT, and then people will become devotee. And so, or maybe like I have to crack some jokes in the class. Then people will become devotees. Then, or maybe like I should have some कुछ तो अलग करना चाहिए, हटके करना चाहिए. So then people will become devotees. So एक ही चीज हटके करना चाहिए दुनिया से. So that is like we have to become absorbed in our chanting. We have to become absorbed in studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we do this thing, so then automatically people will become devotees. So in fact, one time, Bhakti Vinod Maharaj was giving a class, so on glories of Srila Prabhupada. So he was mentioning that nowadays we work on presentation skills. If we see Prabhupada's presentation skill, it was not one of the best actually. So he used to cough a lot, and he used to use a lot of fillers, and he used it is it is not a very that kind of an mind blowing kind of a speech or something like that. So but then he attracted, he made devotees, because of the purity, right? So that is very important. So the real ingredient is, like, we may work on the externals, but the real thing is the internals, that we need to work upon. So when we do that, so then automatically, we can attract souls to Krishna consciousness. So here, coming back to today's topic, Parikshit Maharaj was asking this specific question of Grihavrata, somebody who is like very much attached to the ways and workings of the family life. Now, how can he become greatly advanced in Krishna consciousness, and how can he become he attain the ultimate perfection to be in Krishna consciousness? So, further we will see that Shukadeva Goswami will say, like, yes, whatever you have mentioned is correct. So it is not possible, by that way. So, and it is the answer we will see in the further sessions. And he acknowledges this particular proposition that is put by Parikshit Maharaj. That is like one who is attached to material things, he cannot be advanced in Krishna consciousness. So this, like, material advancement and Krishna consciousness doesn't go hand in hand. So material advancement means, like, specifically this particular word that is used, Graha Vrata, where one's primary um, like goal, in his life is how to expand his materialistic life. So then he cannot become advanced in Krishna consciousness, right? So it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also that yesham tu antagatam papam, jananam punyakarmanam. So te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavata. So this is also, this one thing is there, like when somebody becomes completely freed from all sinful reactions, by repeatedly, like, performing Krishna conscious activities in many many lifetimes. So then, he comes to the point of executing Krishna consciousness with full determination. And then another thing that is mentioned is Bhoga Aishwarya Prashaktanam. So like one who's very much attached to the Bhoga and Aishwarya. So one who's very much attached to the materialistic sense gratification. Thaya Aparhata Chetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhir samadho na vidiyate. So like he will not get resolute determination or one pointed focus in Krishna consciousness till the time he's very much attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya. So till the time he is very much attached to gratifying his senses, and then very much attached to the wealth and or the name, fame, and stuffs like that. So it is very difficult for him to have one pointed focus. Like any problem comes, like anything small happens, so immediately his consciousness becomes diverted. So like a devotee, the advancement of a devotee is seen that in the times of disturbance, like how he is able to like put his focus. No, now I have to take shelter of Krishna. My only business in my life is to take shelter of Krishna. So practically, like in our morning, the first thing that we try to do is like attend the Mangalarti, and then if we are able to put our focus on meditation on the Lord's form, and then like meditation on the sound vibration of the various prayers that we are actually chanting, so then we are like not disturbed, right? So and then we sit down for chanting, so then we are able to focus on the holy name, focus on the sound vibration, so then we are not disturbed. So we are really taking shelter of the names of the Lord, we are really taking shelter of the Lord. So but if we are not able to do that, so that means like something is disturbing, something is actually taking his mind away from the whole process of Krishna consciousness. Something is like really putting us off the practice of Krishna consciousness. So this one pointed focus, come what may, like maybe like there is earthquake is happening in my life, so there is like so much of chaos is happening in my life. So but this is a time for me to take shelter of Krishna. And what happens to the problems that are happening in my life? Oh, like who can actually solve this problem? So only person who can solve this problem is Krishna. and no, this is the time to take shelter of Krishna. So let me just focus on his names. No, let me just focus on the prayers, no, and things like that. So this is very, very essential. So this one pointed focus, vyavasatmika buddhi. So this is not possible until unless a person becomes freed from this bhoga aishwarya prasakta. Ashakti towards the bhoga and aishwarya has to be given up. So, or if we are not able to give up, then we have to make fervent prayers to Krishna that you see, like, no, I want to become attached to you. I want to be one pointed focused on you. But then these things, like I have such like attachment to bhoga and aishwarya, so I'm not able to like focus on you fully, so please help me. So then Krishna is very merciful, he will help. And the spiritual master also, we can pray, we can chant the pranam mantra of the spiritual master, and then we can chant the pranam mantra of Srila Prabhupada, and we can actually beg and pray to them that no, please, you help me. And they are there for this purpose. They are there, like waiting in our altar, like they are, all these personalities are there in our altar, so waiting that when will this guy will take some help. This guy is struggling, but he's not taking any help. Like if they come to me, like Prabhupada, like practically also he told that, no, what problem do you have? No, bring it in front of me. I'll kick the problem, and it'll get solved. So the acharyas, they are there for this purpose. So we should memorize the pranam mantras of our acharyas, like as we chant in the this one Mangalacharan. So we should memorize all these pranam mantras, and we should invoke them. They are there for our, like to help us. They're they are spiritual personalities. They can go back to Godhead. They are there in the spiritual world, but still, why they have to come and present in every one of our altar? Why they have to be there here? So it is just for this purpose, just to save us. And we have to, like, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, actually it shows us that where all we can actually get stuck, and like what all things actually can pull us down in Krishna consciousness. And like the solution is, we have to identify that, and we have to make a specific prayer to the spiritual master and Krishna and Panchatattva, and they can actually remove this thing. So that is the way of Krishna consciousness. We have to identify the problem, and we have to specifically pray. In this Harinam Chintamani session also, we saw that how all the various offenses are there, and all of them, like, we have to specifically spot out, yeah, I've caught up in this particular offense, and it is not possible for me to get out, and I have to, like, offer my prayers to these great personalities to remove me from that bad thing which I'm got stuck to. So in this way, we have to make prayers, and then we will be able to Krishna is merciful, and he will actually remove that obstacle, and we can actually progress closer to Krishna. So I forgot, like, from where I got this point. So the huh? No, no. Before this, I was mentioning something else. Hmm. Yeah, this one pointed focus to make in Krishna consciousness is very difficult. Like without the help of the spiritual master and the acharyas and Panchatattva, so we will not be able to get this one pointed focus, and we have to strive for it. We have to crave for this, and we have to, like you see that in chanting, like just by some sound somewhere, some door is getting opened, or like something is, maybe dog is barking or something like that. In the base it is nearby. So like we get distracted, we start thinking about that particular thing. So but we should again and again tell to ourselves, no, like, my business is now to hear the holy name and nothing else. Let the whole world comes crashing down. So like, I'm not going to do anything else. No, I just going to focus on these names. So, and when we take shelter of the Lord, we will really be able to feel that security. We'll really be able to feel that presence of the Lord. So then we can make sufficient advancement. So more we associate with the Lord, so more we will develop Krishna conscious like ideas. Just like Prabhupada mentions that iron rod kept in the fire. So first of all, the fire has to be kindled. So Lord's presence has to be kindled. So then we can keep ourselves in the association of the Lord. So the kindling the presence of the Lord is by the way of hearing the names of the Lord clearly. So otherwise, we are not even there. We are not even present over there. Right. So with this, I pause today's discussion. Any questions or comments you can take? Yes.
when you mentioned that in that explanation of Madhyama Vishnu, that by the help of another person we cannot get Krishna. How to understand this? That you said means devotees are also there. So by their when we say that they are non-different from the Lord, so everyone is non-different.
Mhm. So this non-difference is the specific aspect. See, there are many different aspects are there. So which is the aspect that we are dealing with now? So bestowing Krishna consciousness, right? So bestowing Krishna consciousness upon another living entity. So that is done only by Krishna. And this Krishna does through like by himself or by his representatives, by the spiritual master. So in this particular task of bestowing Krishna consciousness upon the living entity, so like the devotee or the spiritual master is non different from Krishna. So for executing this particular task, it is completely possible, right? So now, for example, we see that like in so many ways we can actually discuss this non difference. So now we have an organization. Now we have an ashram. So now somebody is telling that I'm sending you a parcel. No, so please collect it. So then I send somebody who's non different from me. Like who's somebody like who will go and execute this task and come. So then the another task is no, I'm hungry and I have to eat. No, I cannot deploy anybody non different from me. I have to only eat. So in this particular task, no, only I am non different from myself. No, nobody else. So in the same way, we see that the whole creation is non different from Krishna. So in what way? In the way that like no, it is energy and energetic. No, Krishna's energy, so they're not different from Krishna. So and like we can actually feel the presence of Krishna everywhere. So the pure devotees, they actually see the whole creation being non-different. So but then why the pure devotees, they don't serve like a dust particle, they don't serve a tree? Like why they only serve the Vaishnavas and Krishna? Because in that, when it comes to the point of service, like then again, which all things are non-different from Krishna? So the definition varies. And then when it comes to like performing Rasa Leela, only Krishna is non different from himself. There's nobody else is like he non different from himself, right? So there is, for which task we are actually talking about. That matters actually. So here the task of bestowing Krishna consciousness upon a living entity. So there the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas are non different from Krishna, right? Any other question?
You told about when the Lord become devotee until he went the ways of to Krishna and Parampara. Then you told you have to create the dust of. Then what is that means? The dust or the instructions?
So both are synonymous actually, both are same only. So like again, we see that this dust of the lotus feet of the devotees is non different from Krishna. So and it is like a very powerful entity, which can actually bestow Krishna consciousness upon us. And whenever we approach Krishna, so there are two things that are there. One is the etiquette, and another is the offenses. So if we approach, for that matter, the Harinam also can bestow all the this one. No, Harinam is non different from the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, because we are receiving the Harinam, which has been chanted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and which has been received by in the Guru Parampara. So like it, the name that we have received is having the potency of all the great personalities in the parampara. So we are having a very very surcharged name of the Lord. So but why still it is not working? So because of this aspect of offenses. So when we get closer to Krishna, we have discussed this particular point, that when we get closer to Krishna, so we should see that everything that is connected to Krishna is offered a proper etiquette, like proper way we approach, and then and like we don't like do the improper way, that is the offenses. So now like if we catch hold of a devotee's feet, jabardasti usko no, that is not the proper etiquette. So rather than the dust particle infusing Krishna consciousness in you, it will actually make you a demon and it will throw you out out of the process of Krishna consciousness. So like when this particular point is mentioned, so this is a very valid point, that dust of the lotus feet of the Lord or dust of the lotus feet of the devotee will bestow Krishna consciousness upon the living entity. It is very perfect. But then if it is taken forcibly, no, if it is taken without proper etiquette, so then it will have adverse effect also, no. So like that. So it is mentions that the another thing that is mentioned is the Pandavas, no, they actually actually primarily Yudhishthir Maharaj, so he actually no, forgiven the Kauravas, no, for their misdoings, no. So in fact, in the Mahabharata, there is this one is there. So he mentions that a shloka about forgiveness. So forgiveness is the greatest of dharmas. No, he's like is glorifying the forgiveness, and we should forgive like that. So, but then Krishna says, so you people can forgive, but the dust of the dust of the devotees' lotus feet, no, they don't forgive. So, like no, they are like completely different personality, and they don't forgive, and because of that, no, Krishna actually makes sure, no, these people actually go for complete ruination. No, so like that. So they act in different ways actually. So because of this, like they are powerful entities. No, the dust of the lotus feet of devotee is a powerful entity, just like no current no can do so much of benefit for us. No, it can actually run a cooler and heater and like no light and no so many things that are there, so it can run. But then you have to no handle the current with proper etiquette. No, उसके साथ कुछ offense करेंगे like no भस्म हो जाएंगे. So like that. So in the same way, like this dust is also very high current. No, so like it has to be approached in a proper way. No, like the instructions also. So when we receive the instructions with a lot of humility and with no lot of respect, we receive the instruction and then put it in our life, so then it works. And the dust also with a lot of humility, and then we see that there is no other way, like no, this is the only way. No, I'm stuck in this material world, no, fully absorbed in the modes of passion and ignorance, and how can I ever get Krishna consciousness? And this is the only means. I'm completely dependent on this source. So, and no, I want to take the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee, and it doesn't need, we don't need to irritate the devotee. No, like IBC में आया, like no सारा जगह पे like no वही पड़ा है, like इतना सारा devotee आके जाता है, so and then like no, you go to a devotee's house, no, they're also like it is there silently you can take. But then we want to make a show, no, देखो मैं ले रहा हूँ देखो. And then no, the devotee get annoyed, why he is doing like this. So then it becomes an offense, so then it has an inverse effect, so like we see, like we should not do like that. So we should not play games like this and things like that. जबरदस्ती नहीं करना चाहिए. Like that. Okay. So, any other questions? Swartha means one's own benefit. Bahirartha means like no, like it's something. It's that which is not going to actually nourish us. No. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It's not going to nourish us. Hmm. It is my body, so I am taking care of my body, so it is called a swartha. So but like if we go a little more deeper in philosophical sense, we see that like this particular thing is not actually going to nourish me. No, so like taking care of the body, it's not going to nourish the soul, because it doesn't have the connection, in that way. So but taking care of Vishnu, so Vishnu is the root of all the existence, and by taking care of Vishnu, so then the soul gets nourished, the material nature gets nourished, everything becomes nourished actually. Hmm. That. So yatha taror mula nishechinena, the watering the root of the tree. That. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.